Hey everybody, I am Self Carrie. I am an empowerment astrologer. I focus mostly on business astrology, medical astrology, dating and relationships astrology, and I'm also a holistic health coach. And I'm so excited to bring you this video because it is this amalgamation of the two things that I love so much, which is astrology and holistic health. And I thought I would bring this to you today as we're sitting here in the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic, to help you understand how astrology can help you right now, how the things lying in your personal astrology chart can actually point you to how best to take care of yourself right now, physically and mentally. And then I'd also love to give you some examples of some of the things that I am using right now to keep my immunity very high during this time. It's probably the most important thing and the best way to keep yourself from getting sick right now is to create a body that is inhabitable for a virus. So make an environment that a virus cannot easily cling on to. And I'm going to show you how to do that with some of the holistic practices as well as some of the herbal medicines that I've been taking. It's kind of interesting. I have a bunch of notes for you here, but it's kind of interesting this time right now because about 2 years ago when I decided to become a full-time astrologer and a holistic health coach, I left my business of being I had a video production company that I ran for over a decade, and I put that business on the back burner because I felt such a strong call to study astrology, to make it something concrete, and to also study holistic health and to help people in this way. And I didn't really know how these two things would go together, astrology, holistic health. I didn't see how those things would work back then. And I was actually kind of timid about telling people that that's what I did, astrology and wellness. How do these two things go together? But as we see throughout time, when we feel a call for something, it's always for a reason. And I can see that happening right now during this pandemic. So it's just a little word to the wise. The moral of the story is that when you feel called for something, go to it, because you never know when you're going to be called to do that work. And I see myself doing that a lot now with clients and through my workshops and private clients, giving them astrology guidance to help them through this time, and also deeper insight into their charts to help them understand their medical makeup, their physical makeup, and the things that they need and practices they need to do to help them through this period of COVID-19. So I'm going to give you an understanding of why or how astrology corresponds to physical health. There are 12 signs of the zodiac that give us 12 different personalities, and every one of us is one of those personalities. I'm a Leo, some people are Pisces, some people are Capricorns. That's the archetype, one of the 12 zodiac signs, one of the 12 personalities that we're given. But along with the 12 personalities, there are also 12 houses. And 12 houses represent the different areas of life that we put some of those personalities into. So for instance, someone who is a sun sign Leo like myself may have their sun sign in the 11th house. The 11th house, as I do, I have my sun in the 11th house, which is the house of Aquarius. So I shine my Leo light through Aquarius tasks, which have more to do with the collective and helping the collective and evolving and evolution and revolution and things like that. So shining my light for a cause. Okay, so in astrology, the house that represents our physical body, represents our physical well-being, as well as our day-to-day activities, day-to-day regime, day-to-day exercise routine, the day-to-day job, not the career, but the day-to-day job. That is the 6th house. And so in astrology, if you want to have an understanding of what you were meant to in this lifetime experience in the physical body and the day-to-day routines and the physical well-being, you can look to astrology and find out which planets are in your 6th house. So If you have no planets in your sixth house, that doesn't mean that you don't have any experiences going on with your body in this lifetime. It just means that it's not necessarily up for you. It's not a major lesson. It's not a box that needs to be checked off of. But you can also look at your chart ruler, which is the sign that's on the outside of that house, to have an understanding of how you deal with your physical body, how you deal with sixth house things. If you have 3 planets or more in your sixth house, that's called a stellium. And a stellium means an overexertion of energy. And often when I work with clients and I see someone who's got 3 or more planets in their sixth house, I'm often start to feel exhausted just working with them, because it usually means that they do too much, they overexert themselves, they exhaust themselves, and then we, through coaching and further work together, I teach them how to move that energy and to balance that in other ways. So if you've got 3 or more planets in there, you're probably sweating right now, or I would be sweating if I was doing a reading with you. It just means an overexertion of energy that needs to be balanced. So I'm going to take you through how to find your sixth house, or which planets, if they're in your sixth house, what does that mean? You can absolutely go anywhere on YouTube or Google and find out how to get your free astrology chart and how to find out which planets are in your house. But this video is to teach you if which planets are there, what do they mean? And also which planets represent having maybe a weaker immune system or a stronger immune system. Whether you have a weaker immune system or a stronger immune system natally really doesn't matter, because there are sometimes transits in astrology, and these are planets that come by that house and activate that house. So you could have it natally, which means it's a lifelong strength or weakness. And then you could have nothing in your sixth house. And if a planet transits there, that means that gets activated for that period of time, for however long that planet is in that house. Okay. So I'm going to give you an understanding of which planets mean which in your sixth house. And then I'm going to talk about some of the medicines and practices that I'm using right now to keep my immunity up through this COVID-19 pandemic. Okay. So if you have the sun in the sixth house, the sun represents our ego, our healthy ego, the way we shine in the world. And if you have your sun in the sixth house, this means that you kind of shine through the day-to-day routines. This usually means you're a bit of a taskmaster or a headmistress kind of energy. You're really good at what you do. You're really good at organization and routines and structures and things like that. You shine in that area. But it also means sometimes you can be a little overconfident, and that can affect your health, of course. If you have the moon in the sixth house, the moon represents our emotions and our primal needs. And so your emotions are affected by anything, any sort of disruption to your day-to-day routines. So these are the people that have to, have structure throughout their day. They're primally and emotionally connected to having organization and structure, very detail-oriented. These are the people that can't go to bed without making sure the dishwasher is full and making sure the house is clean before they go to bed. If you have Mercury in the sixth house, Mercury is our intelligence and our communication, the way we speak and also the way we receive information. And if you have Mercury in the sixth house, sometimes this can be a bit of a communication overload. You are someone who's very good at communicating, very detail oriented, but you expect that to come back to you in the same way. You expect information to come back to you in a very detailed way. That, of course, doesn't always happen. If you have Venus in the sixth house, this is more like health and vanity. You're very attracted to health, and it's not bad, not a bad thing at all. If you have Mars in the sixth house, I always call this the doing the most placement. You are doing the most, you're maybe doing too much. You're a very organized and detail-oriented person, but you're also that kind of person that walks into the room and notices what's wrong with it before you notice what's right with it. If you have Jupiter in the sixth house, Jupiter is a very benevolent planet. It's very benevolent energy. It's very lucky and expansive. And so it's very lucky to have in the sixth house. It means that organization and details comes very easy to you, and that you actually, you magnetize things kind of effortlessly to you through having so much luck in that area. It also can mean a very healthy immune system. Now, if you have Saturn in the 6th house, Saturn is about being taught something. It's about being constricted and held back in school so that we can learn something. So we have to focus on it. And when Saturn's in the 6th house, this means that you need to focus on the physical body. You need to focus on the day-to-day routines, that this is a lifelong lesson for you. And you will be restricted many times in your life until you become a master of that lesson. If you have Uranus in the 6th house, Uranus is called the Great Awakener, and it means awakening to something, constant, sudden awakenings to something. And so when people have Uranus in the 6th house, this is when they have the sudden illnesses, sudden changes in their physical body, sudden things they have to become aware of. And I always advise people when they have Uranus in the 6th house natally to make prevention of illness a lifelong maintenance thing for them, a daily focus for them. If you have Neptune in the 6th house, Neptune is our more nebulous energy, it's more mysterious. And Neptune represents mysterious illnesses or misdiagnosed illnesses, things that come out of nowhere and we don't really know where they showed up. And it's very much a coronavirus energy, to be honest, Neptune in the 6th house. So if you have Neptune in the 6th house, you probably are someone who's had to deal with a lot of mysterious or misdiagnosed illness in your life. And if you have a Neptune in the 6th house transit, you will be dealing with that during that time. And then if you have Pluto in the 6th house, Pluto represents transformation and healing through crisis situations. And if you have that going through your 6th house, that means your day-to-day routine gets shook up. It also means your health might get shook up, but all in the effort to bring to your attention how much you needed to clean house, how much you needed to transform, how much your body needed a break and you needed to surrender and move on and heal itself and to give up control so much. So if you have any of those planets in that 6th house, take a look and go over this video and see if any of it resonates with you. Now, the thing that I've been doing to make sure my immunity stays high, hopefully to prevent coronavirus occurring, is to, again, make sure that my body, my environment is inhabitable for a virus, okay? So the best way to keep coronavirus at bay or any type of illness is to make it don't make it an easy playground to get into, okay? Make it something that viruses can't easily attach onto. So I'm going to give you just a list of some herbs and some preventative medicine practices. You really have to take these every day. This is not just for symptoms. This is a maintenance. This is what preventative medicine is about. It's about the maintenance of your health, not just about getting rid of a symptom when it occurs. This is how you help your system stay immune instead of having to get immune when you get sick. So this is something to get into your system ASAP, okay? Now, also, these are medicinal herbs, okay? And just like going outside and hanging around some trees and things like that, we're allergic to different things. And so it's important for you to do your own research and make sure that you are not allergic to some of the things that I'm about to mention, that you might that you are okay with some of the side effects that might occur. Make sure that they are okay to mix with other pharmaceuticals or things that you are currently taking. Just take care of yourself. Talk to your doctor and make sure this is something that is right for you, okay? Now, one of the things that I am using nonstop, and it's one of my favorite things, is a diffuser to get certain essential oils into the air, to get them into my lungs, to get them into my environment, because coronavirus is an airborne virus, meaning our air is literally carrying it. And it's important to clean your air. It's important to clean your air anytime, but for now especially, you should be cleaning your air. And a really great way to do that is with a diffuser. I brought a little tiny one here, so you can take a look at that. And it's just a little thing there to put like a little tea light. You put some water at the top, and then you add a couple drops of essential oil, and that diffuses the air. Now, some of the essential oils that I like to use There's one called white sage that is really wonderful because it's just like sage, which is it cleans the air when you burn sage. It's an oxygen cleaner. White sage essential oil does the same. There's also a great essential oil that I'm using right now called Breathe. And it has this kind of, it feels like Vicks Vapor Rub. You remember Vicks Vapor Rub where you just be like, right? Or your mom used to do that. It's kind of like Vicks Vapor Rub, but with like, you don't got to take a shower afterwards. So it's called Breathe Blend right there. Hopefully you can read backwards. All right. Now, using the white sage oil or the Breathe Blend will help get the air diffused. And it also helps, right now I've got allergies, and of course that means every 5 seconds I think I have coronavirus. And it's just not true. So one thing that really helps when I have those moments of like chest compression or anything like that is I use this diffuser, and it kind of clears my lungs and clears my air for me. Another thing that I'm doing on a daily basis is getting outside at least once, and most likely twice, out in the sun, because it's so important to get vitamin D in the system. Also because this particular virus sounds like it's heat sensitive, okay? So just making sure that your body is a hot and warm place. Again, not habitable, not easily habitable, okay? I'm taking about 5,000 CUs of vitamin D, or you can also getting some vitamin C, doing about 10 grams of buffered vitamin C daily. And I'm getting these suggestions, by the way, from my acupuncturist, who is an Eastern medicine doctor. And so these are some things that he suggested. Now, another great thing to get into your system is reishi mushroom or cordyceps. Obviously, if you're allergic to mushrooms or you find them disgusting, don't choose this one. Reishi mushrooms are really great in enhancing the immune system, and they're also great at improving sleep, reducing stress, lessening fatigue. These are all things that we need right now, because as we become more stressed with this situation, we're losing sleep and again, making ourselves more susceptible to getting sick. I don't know about you, but I always get sick when I don't get enough sleep, or when I'm like, if I'm on a plane and I'm not able to sleep well on the plane, I always get sick, okay? Here's also a really great thing that my acupuncturist indicated, and this is something for people if you do contract COVID-19, and it's called serapeptase, okay? Now, serapeptase, I'm going to have to read this from my notes. COVID-19 creates fibrosis scar tissue, okay? So, and that is what contributes to you being unable to breathe when you have COVID-19. Serapeptase is an herb that eats away at scar tissue that keeps you from being able to breathe. So serapeptase is something that people have used for getting rid of like keloids on their skin, excessive skin deformations or keloids. Or I know that women have used serapeptase when they are trying to get pregnant, but they have extra fibrosis scar tissue in their fallopian tubes and things like that. And it basically eats away at that scar tissue, and so it helps you breathe a lot easier. So there's serapeptase for you if you would want to check that out. Remember again to read these things and make sure they're right for you. Drinking hot liquids, that's a no-brainer. I've been like chugging down the chicken broth this entire time, and chicken soup is like the original elixir. So it's doing well. I'm getting lots of saunas, baths, and hot showers. Again, this is a heat-sensitive virus, so making sure that the body is hot and not easily habitable is the best. So make sure you get those showers, and I know it's hard to do when the days are running together. I don't even actually know what today is, but I know I got to take a shower. All right. Now, there's also a nice list of different types of herbs. I'll list them below. My acupuncturist actually gave me a really great tincture. It's called an ELO tincture. That's his name for it. but it has so many great things that are natural herbs that have been used for generations to ward off things like viruses and to boost immune function. And again, this is preventative medicine. These are things you should have in your system already on an ongoing basis. They are not for acute illness. They are not for if you have a symptom. They are something that you should start taking as soon as you get them so that you can prevent something from occurring. So this ELO tincture has astragalus in it, which boosts immune function. Elderflower, I love elderflower, and I've heard so many great things about it. Elderflower is helps with swollen sinuses, sinusitis, the flu, swine flu, bronchitis, influenza. Okay. Honeysuckle is helps with upper respiratory tract infections. Okay. Siler root helps with body aches, especially pains in the joints, as well as chills and tremors, which many people are getting along with this virus. Isatis root, and I'll have all of these listed below, and by the way, so you don't have to spell. Okay. Isatis root used to treat upper respiratory and airway infections. Ginseng, which also reduces stress and helps promote relaxation. It's amazing. Actually, I take this regularly. Citrus limonum, which is an internal antiseptic. Marshmallow root, which relieves cough. Colt's foot, which relieves bronchitis, asthma, and whooping cough. Fructus schisandre, which calms the heart and soothes the mind, which is something we greatly need along with this, right? When you're sick, you're stressed. So this calms your heart and soothes the mind. Ginger is amazing. I've been chugging down the ginger juice lately. Ginger is an anti-inflammatory. Kudzu, which is an antioxidant, and cinnamon twig, which in cases of cold and flu, it helps when the natural defenses of the body have been compromised. So I have a tincture that my acupuncturist makes. He may be able to ship some to you. I'll leave his information below. So if you would like a deeper understanding of the 6th house and be able to use your chart and to support your health in more specific ways, it's important for you to read your astrology chart and see what's happening in your 6th house, see what's transiting your 6th house. Use your astrology chart as a guide to help you prepare for things to come. So I just wanted to leave you with that information. I have astrology and wellness workshops all the time. I've got one coming up, astrology and immunity, coming up this month in April. I also have, if you sign my mailing list, you can get a 25% off promo code on all my live readings this month. There's a lot of offerings happening in the world right now because we really need each other. So all the healers are offering things, and I really implore you to use them. This type of medicine has been around for generations, and it's from this planet, it's of this planet, and so are we. So it's here to help us. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you'll use some of these remedies and leave your thoughts about it in the comments. In the meantime, take care.